Hey guys, what it is your girl Cadillac and some Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and paints for justice. Hoping, because you got to hold your breath for justice, to see justice before all face too bleak. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, guys, I'm coming through June the 17th, 2025. I don't have much time. I live life in between the margins of going to work, girl. So I just got off of work a little while ago. And now I'm waiting on the kids so I can take them to the movies because it's supposed to be movie night, and it's because it's the cheapest night of the week. $5 Tuesdays. So I was up to 4 a.m. trying to record and upload the second part of this video review series of reviewing Willie D live. He was interviewing Corey Miller. I heard this interview on my way to visitation on I think it was Sunday, and I still have not gotten to finish reviewing it because I got to break down my life and live it in between and make sure it surrounds going to work, like dictated by work. But anyways, I'm tired because I told y'all in the last video that I was going to record it and let it upload overnight. Girl, that video, I woke up this morning, it still wasn't uploaded. I kept trying to connect and upload it before I went into work. It still was doing the most. And whenever I go through, it feels like just go through jail trying to get a video out. Once I finally get it out, it doesn't do good at all. It's like, I look at this more spiritual. Most people are going to say, oh, that's because you're just negative. No, I look at it more spiritual. Anything I try to do that is forward movement and has to do with justice and has to do with getting myself together and freeing my husband, it has always been an antagonist that just it feels like goes around the block and cuts me off at every turn. So because I'm trying my best to put this video out, I am getting so much opposition. It is never easy for me to, most people think YouTube is easy. They look at those that are successful and they think that they just record videos, upload, and then they get paid for doing nothing, not much of anything, while others have to go to work and this and that. They don't realize that YouTube is a lot of work, and it's especially a lot of work for a person that is not monetized, such as myself, that gets nothing, not even. And if I wasn't monetized, which I'm not, it wouldn't even matter if I was at least breaking my husband's story. But I'm not getting enough eyes on my channel to even be able to do that, or making differences. If let's say I couldn't break my husband's case, if I was breaking other people's cases, you understand what I'm saying? If it was something that I was gaining out of doing all of this work, it would seem to be beneficial. But I do tons of work, and there's no reap from the harvest of sowing and reaping. So I sow plentiful, but I do not reap. Or if I do reap, I reap weeds, right? Not actual, but it's not coming from negativity. It's just reciting the truth. This is literally the truth. So when I go through that much warfare just trying to put out a video, it always, once I pursue and overcome it and push through to the end, the video never does that well. It just is just something that happens. There is a strong force that literally just does not want me to be successful, because they know that my success means success for so many. It means freedom. It means justice. And people are opposed to it. So yeah, after all that work, I only got 6 views. So, and I think 2 or 3 of those views are me reviewing it. It's crazy. It is crazy. I don't know. I don't know. I literally don't know how to give up, though. I mean, all the signs are saying, hey, you're not successful at this. Why don't you, But we're going to get back to the video and just review as much as we can, because I am waiting on them to pull up, and I don't know when they will be pulling up. So I'm going to have to go as soon as they get here. So let's get back to the video. I was trying to do this in the house, and this is the thing. So this video ain't gonna get no views either, y'all, because it's been the most like trying to clear off the one phone to make sure I have enough storage. I have to delete YouTube because YouTube starts taking up too many gigabytes. I had to re-download it. Then I have one phone that I am listening to the story that I'm reviewing on, and that phone will not connect to Bluetooth. I mean, it won't connect to Wi-Fi. It keeps just spinning. So I try to use my regular old cellular data. It won't play in that location in the house. So then it finally starts playing, and I listen to y'all so y'all can hear it over the Bluetooth, and the Bluetooth won't connect. I done detach everything that I believe is connected to the Bluetooth. It will not connect, so all you could hear is barely through my phone. So it's been a lot of warfare around this video too, and once I pursue through it, y'all watch. I ain't even gotta say it, because y'all gonna say I'm negative. Watch the views, like watch. We gonna come back to this in like a couple days and see how crickets or cicadas, because they told me it wasn't crickets, they're cicadas. I got cicadas for all the work I try to put in, but you know what? It is what it is. Okay, here we go. Oh, starting out with an ad. Let's get past the ad first. See, this what it just keeps spinning. Like, it's irritating. I don't want to tell you the company I got, but they're not really that good.
He alerted the FBI on Jefferson Parish courthouse corruption, and also spoke on the corruption that was happening in her court. On record at Miller's new trial hearing, Judge Sassoni is willing to talk about the corruption and expose the many wrongdoings that has been stipulated. Alongside the blatant corruption, Judge Kovac, is it Kovac? Kovac. Yeah. Judge Kovac used Miller's case, check this out, family. Judge Kovac used Miller's case in a negative manner to try and unseat Judge Sassoni. During Kovac's camp.
So you're using someone's case, which is really the determination over their life, for politics. That's crazy.
She sent out mailers that had the slogan, "Getting away with more than murder," with Corey Miller's picture on them. Although Kovac won, an ethics committee ruled that her campaign crossed ethical lines for using CMurder case as propaganda to be elected. Her actions and mishandling of her campaign advertisements left Miller unable to get a fair trial in Jefferson Parish. Judge verdict.
But I wonder, does anybody ever really get a fair trial? Like, when I would say what you consider a fair trial is going by due process. We're all supposed to be afforded a fair trial. That's what we all supposed to get if we are accused of a crime or whatever, and we have to defend ourselves. Right? If we're the defendant in a case, right? We're all supposed to get a fair trial, which is going through due process. So, but most trials are not fair. But the fairest trial, you're going to have to pay. You're going to have a lot of money to mount a correct legal defense, which that doesn't seem fair to me at all. So you're really telling me the only people afforded due process is those who can afford it. Like, what does that leave? And then the system itself does not even target those with the money because they know they got the money. Like, I mean, of course they're going to collect and cash in, my opinion only, but it usually targets those that can't afford to get out of the trap. You know they can't get out of what you laid out for them, so it targets them more. So how is it just or fair? Like, I don't know. But he had money, so I don't know what, like, he was in the height of his career really at the time that he Corey Miller was accused and standing trial. So he had money, so I don't understand, like, it had to, but he's saying it was going back to the politics, so maybe that was more than money in this case. They get money all the time, so maybe they wanted something more out of this case.
The jury verdict. Judge, is it Legerberg? Yeah, was the presiding was the presiding judge on Miller's retrial. Promised the jury that they would hear the 911 call, the 911 calls, where the caller Darnell Jordan does not describe Corey Miller as the shooter. He later reversed that decision and claimed Code of Criminal Procedure Article 793 prohibited him from sending the recording to jurors. The article only states that there are not to refer to notes or access.
So that's exculpatory evidence there, because that evidence would have or could have led to him being found not guilty. So like I say, in these wrongful convictions, because he's maintaining his innocence, I cover wrongful convictions. I am the OG prison wife. Been a prison wife for the last 23 plus years, 24 if you're going to include county jail, that I've been going through this hell. Really. But yeah, so most wrongful convictions, they reflect one another. They seem identical, just different name, case numbers, different places they happen, but the same story. It would be like producing different novels and just changing the cover and putting the same read inside of the covers, the front and back cover, the jacket, and then just, pushing it off as a new book. That's basically what this, looks like to me. But most of them, they're gonna take that exculpatory evidence, they're gonna delete that. I refer to it as, back in the day, I am a 80s baby, we used to take road trips, and the map, we would take a map. It wasn't no Google, it wasn't no MapQuest. When I first started visiting my husband, it was MapQuest at that time. But it's like the old school when you would get a map. So you go into the little travel center and you buy a map, but there's holes strategically cut in your map. How do you arrive to the correct destination, which is the verdict, right? How can you arrive to the correct verdict when you're missing key evidence that is needed? Right? You need it in your map to be able to arrive to the right destination. So when it's gone, they have to either rely on supplemented evidence, which is usually their testimonies, or just like he's saying, like what he's saying, that the judge is telling them they have to just, not consider this and that.
To refer to notes or access written evidence if the jurors are unable to reach a verdict. The jurors actually reached a 9-3 verdict and was very confident in their decision, but Judge
holding out.
Demanded that they go back and deliberate further. This is where it gets really, really crazy. So not only did he use an article to withhold.
So what's the reason to deliberate further if it was a firm 3 holding out, saying no?
From the jurors, he placed a heavy burden upon the jurors that were voting not guilty. This caused duress on one juror to become extremely ill from the pressure to change her verdict to guilty. After Miss Bazile refused to change her
So
verdict.
if their interest is in justice, which justice is if the person did it, they're convicted. If the person did not do it, they are set free. That is also justice, y'all. Justice is not always just finding a person guilty, right? It's finding the truth, the verdict, the truth. Verdict means truth. So why is he pressing them?
Mary
I'm sorry.
Jacobs,
Why is
another-
he pressing them to come back with guilt? If that, that could possibly not be the truth. Why would you press somebody? If that is their, they call citizens for a reason. That's why they don't just make the decisions themselves, quote unquote. We're talking how it's set up and supposed to be, the illusion of it, versus how it really is. So they're not supposed to make their own decisions. They're supposed to call on the citizens to make their decisions. So if the citizens is sitting through this trial, listening to the evidence or the lack thereof, because that is all a case is really supposed to be settled upon, why are they forcing it? But then later say it's not a wrongful conviction. If truth really needs no manipulation. You don't have to force the truth. Let it play out. Let it be. And you know how they say, let the truth come out in court. Well, why are they messing with it so much?
Refused to change her verdict to guilty. Mary Jacobs, another juror that had voted not guilty, decided to change her verdict to guilty to protect Miss Jacobs from any further harassment from the fellow jurors. Mr. Jacobs went on record.
So in the last video, he was talking about the 10-2. I'm sorry, y'all, carpal tunnel. I don't have a dash thing. My hand is wiggling back and forth. I'm so sorry. But he was talking about in the last video I reviewed that 10-2 rule. So it was down to 3. That's why they were forcing her so much to change, because they really only needed one more person to change from not guilty to guilty to be able to just still go through with the conviction.
That should have been Mrs. Jacobs. Yeah, Mrs. Jacobs went on record to say that she and Bazile were shaking so badly, she ran into the bathroom. She was throwing up her guts. She couldn't function anymore. That's when she said she decided the judge don't want to hear.
Because to be honest, the reason she probably took that type of stance is because it really hit her that I'm making a decision over someone's life. Over someone's life, which you should not take lightly, because you wouldn't want your life or your loved one's life or your husband, like in my case, life, to be taken lightly.
The truth. The judge don't want to listen to me, doesn't want to listen to us. I told them, you want him to be guilty, he's guilty. Now let's get the hell out of here. That is no damn reason to put a human being
Willie.
in jail for life.
Y'all see why I love Willie?
You're tired of being in the damn jury room, because you're tired of deliberating. That ain't no reason. That's cold-blooded, man. It's gotta be somebody out there, I mean, really, this should be all hands on deck, really. Like anybody who claimed to be a lawyer, who claimed to be righteous.
I believe many of those people are in it for the wrong reason. They're in it for what comes with it, the benefits that comes with being, because criminal lawyers get paid, girl, they get paid the most, like, honestly. Because when your freedom is at stake, people are going to figure out and find ways to get you the money that they need. But they don't usually do it out of the stance that this is someone's life and I'm trying to save an innocent person. They don't do it from that stance. They do it from, oh my gosh, I can make money off of this. You want your freedom? I could actually bank off of this. That's the more of the stance that they make it from, they do it from. So he's calling on people to actually do it from the other stance of, this is what y'all say y'all are for. Y'all are for justice. Well, here's someone being done unjustly. Can y'all please come to the forefront? And they know that people can't. Now, I don't know if Corey Miller can afford, because he had money. So I'm believing he could have afforded some grand attorneys, which he probably already had grand attorneys. I even think about that in Tory Lane's case. Like, he had to have had the best attorneys he can get. Like, so it got to be something more. Like the average Joe, we usually go down because we ain't got no money. But in these cases, it's got to be a little bit more deeper than that, right? But where are those people that, quote unquote, fight for justice?
Hands on deck, really. Like anybody who claimed to be a lawyer, who claimed to be righteous, all of these people, all of these lawmakers, all of these people that's got the power, all of them should just converge on Louisiana and say, let that man go. What the hell y'all holding that man for? You know, this seems like...
And the other thing, okay, besides the money, he has the spotlight. Like, anytime... I've seen many press release that he's done, so he's able to get hit, like how I've been for 20 goddamn years, over 20 years, to almost 24 years, trying to just tell somebody that can help about Marcello Jackson, so that he could be free from this and I could be free from this. I'm an artist, so I can go and paint somewhere, so that I can go on and help the next wrongfully convicted person. Not so that this could tear our whole lives in two. But I have mostly been trying to get a voice, a platform to get a voice since MySpace. MySpace, you may not even know what MySpace is, because you could be that young that you don't even know what that is. But that's how long ago. I've been on YouTube since they started. YouTube just celebrated their 20 years anniversary. Baby, I've been on there since they came out 20 years ago. Not on this channel. This channel old as heck. I had a first channel, which I couldn't get into it when they started making you attach a Gmail to it. But been on here since this even launched. And no one still knows, or very few still know the story of Marcello Jackson, wrongfully incarcerated Florida man. But Corey Miller has that platform where he can get a word out. He has the money, the resources. So what is it that is, it's got to be something more. Like, why? I don't know. It's crazy.
I said, let that man go. What the hell y'all holding that man for? You know, this seems like one of those situations where we're going to hold him just because we can, or we don't want to be proven wrong, so we're going to keep him in here. It doesn't matter.
I do think they do that a lot too. When you do prove them to be incorrect and that you are innocent, they don't want to let you go because they don't want to admit to that. They really do not want to admit that. And it wasn't a mistake. Not that they're admitting a mistake. They're going to say it was a mistake or a travesty of justice, like they love to say. But I believe wrongful convictions are actually purposeful. They purposely, wrongfully convict you. My opinion, allegedly. But I don't know. This stuff just burns my soul. Like, I just cannot with this.
Want to be proven wrong, so we're gonna keep him in here.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that he's wasting away. It don't matter that we keep him.
Because it's not about guilt or innocence. It's not about right or wrong. It's about the conviction. Get the conviction. If it don't stick, make it stick.
Away from his family, keeping him away from his freedom.
Wrongful convictions affect the entire family. attached to that person. The entire family is affected by a wrongful conviction, not just the one wrongfully, not one, because there's thousands wrongfully. Let's look that up because I never quote that number correct. Let's look this up again. I got to start remembering it. Girl, I got to start remembering my statistics. Statistically, he done became what y'all thought he'd be. A young black male in jail or on the streets. Well, if this the game, it seems like it was rigged up to me. Yeah, massive fiancés and don't lie to me. How many are wrongfully incarcerated? And this is in U.S. because, you know, this is happening everywhere, but we're just sticking to where we're at. Well, where I'm at, because I do see some people watch me outside of. Okay, it is difficult to know the exact number, but experts estimate that between 2% to 10% of people incarcerated in the U.S. may be wrongfully convicted. This translates to tens of thousands of people, potentially ranging from 40,000 people to 230,000 people currently in prison for crimes they did not commit. That number should be so freaking alarming. 230,000. Well, Marcello is one of those 230,000s. And you could be too. I know people like to clown me, like to talk about me, like to leave trolling comments, but don't realize that you could actually be there. And it would be so ironic if you were, because then you would actually learn how this system really works firsthand.
I'm in here just because we can.
They can.
That's cold-blooded, man.
Mm-hmm.
Sealed secret motions. You got sealed secret motions. You got, when Miller's lawyer, Rachel Connor, filed his first, Raquel filed his first post. Is it Rachel, right? It's Rachel. Yeah, Rachel Connor filed his first post-conviction relief. The state immediately went behind her and filed 31 sealed secret motions.
But they want
This
justice.
information was never provided to Miller or his attorney.
Wow.
Once discovering that these motions were filed, Miller's attorney then requested that.
So if you truly want justice and you want to get the bad guy, locking out the bad guys, why are you doing all this other stuff? Because if you want the bad guy, because somebody lost their life in the case that he's in prison for. So if you're digging this hole here and it's coming up that, hey, things aren't lining up, don't you still want the real bad guy? Because the real bad guy, if he is wrongfully incarcerated, where's the person that actually committed the crime? Are they in prison? Are they learning their lessons? Are they in prison and people telling them that, well, they shouldn't have never did what they did? How are you alleviating and resolving the issue if you have the wrong person imprisoned? I don't understand that. How does that work? That's like if they just scattered around and randomly sent us out bills and was like, heck, I don't care if that wasn't your account. Somebody's got to pay it. Like, huh? Don't you want the person that incurred the debt to pay it back to society? Why are you okay with just any random as long as society is getting paid back for the debt, right? It doesn't make sense. But they don't care. They just want to quote the same old cliche lines. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. And he shouldn't have never did what he did and all that stuff.
Requested that this evidence be provided to him. The response he received was that they are only going to provide half of the documents and the majority of the information
that's that whole cutting that map.
will be redacted. A few examples of what these files consisted of are as follows: audio tape recordings, jury verdict polling slips, motions to insurances of subpoenas, material witness warrants, internal affairs investigation, internal affairs case report, disciplinary action reports, exculpatory
Exculpatory evidence.
exculpatory evidence, order to seal.
Thank you, Mr. Willie
records.
D. He just co-signed your girl. Your girl ain't sitting up here lying, right? But we're gonna have to stop here because it's getting late. My hand going to bed. I'm not going to bed, but my hand going to bed. And the kids are soon to arrive. And by this video getting over 30 minutes long, I'm gonna have a heck of a time trying to upload this thing. So I will talk to you guys later. We'll pick up right here. Please check out the other two parts if you like in the description box. And the first one was kind of rough because I did it through live because I was going through the most. It is something, I promise you, something does not want me to cover this story. Really, it's not about the story. Something does not want this channel to actually fulfill its mission statement. All right. It's your girl, Cadillac. Talk to you guys later.